Hey everybody, my name is Aaron and this is going to be the last Hihat video blog. The last video blog was about a month ago and I said I was going to be going on vacation. And vacation's important. It's a time to think about your life and prioritize. And I did a lot of that. I had a 3-week vacation and it was fun. We went to New Orleans for a week, then we went on a cruise for a week, then we hopped on the road. We'd actually rented a car. We drove to Nashville for the 4th of July, which was awesome. It had a fireworks display that just ended with like a deafening craziness of all the fireworks at the same time. And then we drove to Chicago and had a lot of fun there. But you know, as I said, this is going to be the last Hihat video blog. And the reason for that is because I've decided to stop working on Hihat as a full-time thing. Now, I could keep working on it full-time, and I could in a financial sense. You know, I've been fortunate, as I've said, I have some savings, I can afford to do this. And when I was leaving my job about a year ago, I had a few ideas of what I could do when I did that. Now, one of them was to work on an app, which turned out to be Hihat. Another idea was to start building games. And there were some other things as well. But those were the main two contenders. And I picked Hihat for various reasons. But some of those reasons have sort of deprioritized in my mind over the last year. And the reason for that has less to do with the progress of Hihat than it does with stuff that's happened in my personal life. I've tried to keep my personal life out of the video blog because I wanted it to be a record for people to, including myself especially, to go back and sort of understand what was I thinking at the time, what were the challenges. You know, if Hihat works out, then it would be great to see, what were the steps to get there. And if it doesn't work out, then, what were the steps to get there? Why didn't it work out? And maybe it would be a good postmortem tool. But, so anyway, there wasn't much personal life stuff in it. Now, the truth is, a lot has happened to me in my personal life. And I would say that the amount of bad stuff that's happened in the last year is basically more than the entire rest of my life combined. It's pretty crazy. And I'm okay now. I'm okay. But there have been 3 deaths, including 2 family members and 1 acquaintance of my fiance's who I had met a few times, but whose passing was tragic in such a unbelievable way that I don't even like talking about it. And also, family members have been to the hospital. I've been to the ER for other people way more times than anyone should have to in the last year. And I've even had to take my dog to the vet for an emergency thing, and she's fine now. But having all that stuff happen, it gave me a lot to think about. And, I also have plans with my fiance to get married and start a family. And between all of that, there have been a lot of questions in my head about priorities. What's important to me? What do I want for myself? What do I want for my family? And ultimately I decided that the pursuit of a startup was not, at least this specific startup, was not the right thing for me to be doing right now. I asked myself some questions that were basically the types of questions that I would ask people if I was interviewing them to hire them for a job. And those questions that I would ask people when I was hiring were often about trying to understand if the person was doing the thing that we were hiring them for because they were really passionate about it or because they just wanted a paycheck. And so I asked a lot of questions about, what are your hobbies? What do you like doing? What were your side projects? And ultimately, I decided for myself by asking those questions that my choice that I discarded before to become an independent game developer, at least for the time being, was actually a better choice for me personally than the one I had chosen based on my priorities now. And it's a little bit weird to explain, and I'm trying not to go into the really specific details about it, but suffice it to say that I've been working on some stuff in my spare time recently that has gotten me more excited than I've been about a project in a while. And it sort of reminded me that, you know, there are things that I love doing. There are things that I've always loved doing since I was a kid. And I have an opportunity to try to get really good at that and make a career out of it. And I probably should. I also know a lot of people in the games industry, and I have a lot of connections. And I feel like it's something that I could be successful at. Now, what am I going to do with Hihat? So I'm not giving it up entirely. I'm going to keep working on it because I do think it's a thing that's useful, but it's now relegated to side project status, and things that had been my side projects are coming back to the forefront. So there are changes I'd still like to make to Hihat. I would like to make it possible to use it without logging in, which is going to be really cool. And I also want to combine all the feeds of the bands that you subscribe to instead of making them separate. That's going to require a lot of code work, but that is going to give me a chance to refactor it and make it awesome so I can open source the entire thing. That's right. I want to open source the project I've been working on for the last year for several reasons. One reason, obviously, it's a good portfolio piece. I don't have anything publicly available right now that's source code because everything I've worked on has been in a work, private, whatever capacity. It can't be released. So this is going to be something to demonstrate, yes, I can do iOS code, I can write Swift, and I can write Python, and blah, blah, blah. I can do this other stuff and make a really complicated thing that's whatever it is, 12,000 lines of code. And also, it means that if there are people who are interested in what I'm doing and want to check it out and maybe want to expand upon it, which would be awesome, then it's there for them. There's also some specific little utilities that I wrote as part of it that I think could be useful pulled out on their own. Anyway, so I'm not going to work on Hihat full time. It's going to become a side project. I'm going to open source it once I finish some of the changes I want to make. And I'm going to start working on games. I have some game ideas that I've already started with. Those of you who are Facebook friends with me have noticed that I have posted in my feed that I was working on a Doom 2 level, and it's just about done. I'm getting feedback. This was something that is purely for fun, like there's no monetary value to it, but it is something that I can put on a personal website and say, look, I did this. But I have other ideas that I'm going to go forward with, games that could potentially make money. I'm also going to be looking for and accepting freelance work. Not exclusive to games even. So I've had some people that I know offer me some work in the last year and say, hey, if you're ever looking for stuff on the side, blah, blah, blah. And at the time I said no, but now I'm ready to say yes. So those are all the big changes that are happening. This has been the second longest video blog behind the first one I did, which was rambling and had a lot of irrelevant stuff in it. Hopefully this was more relevant and gives you a better glimpse into what's going on inside my head. Okay, so normally I'd say like, comment, and subscribe, but I don't actually know what I'm going to do with my YouTube channel. I actually may start streaming my game development, which might be cool. I did a test stream today of some work on my Doom level, and it was fun. So I may continue to use my channel. I may make a new channel. I don't know what I'm going to do. But regardless, this is the last Hihat video blog. So thank you to everybody who has been watching these. It's been a year since I started. I haven't quite done a year's worth of weekly videos because I've had to miss a few. But it's been fun, it's been educational, and if you've been watching since the beginning, you'll probably notice that I've gotten a lot better at this. At least I hope you noticed that. All right. Thanks for watching, and well, I may not say tune in next week or see you next week, but reach out, say hi.